All right, so we're diving deep today into something called calcium alpha-ketoglutarate.
Okay.
You might see it as KG. We've got this research article here, and it dives deep into what the science says about its potential benefits,
Cool.
especially when it comes to aging and just overall health.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your mission, should you choose to accept it, and I know you already have,
All right.
is to get a clear and concise understanding of what's really worth paying attention to here.
Sounds good.
We're going to cut through the scientific jargon
Yeah.
and really try to get to the core insights for you.
I like it.
So what's interesting is we're looking at a molecule, AKG,
Yeah.
that's fundamental to how our cells produce energy.
Exactly. And the idea that supplementing with it, especially this calcium-bound form,
Right.
could have such wide-ranging effects is certainly interesting.
Totally.
It really makes you think about the power of these basic building blocks, you know?
Yeah.
Like what's going on at that fundamental level?
Absolutely. And we're going to look at what initial studies, particularly in mice,
Okay.
suggest about lifespan extension and improved health span.
Got it.
Then we're going to carefully examine the much more limited human research.
Right.
But there are some findings on bone health.
Interesting.
And then a surprising mention of biological age.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so one of the most widely cited pieces of research was in cell metabolism back in 2020.
Oh, yeah. I remember reading that.
Those animal studies really kind of got the ball rolling on this, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And, connecting this to the bigger picture for clinical research like this is really crucial for identifying promising avenues for human studies, even if the translation isn't always one-to-one.
Right.
It's like laying the groundwork for understanding what might be possible.
Yeah, and that study showed some pretty remarkable results.
Oh, yeah.
For the female mice, we're talking about a potential, significant increase in lifespan.
Wow.
Think about it as roughly 1 extra year for every 6 or so in mouth terms,
Okay.
which is a substantial impact in animal models. And then the male mice also saw a notable increase.
That is interesting. And what's perhaps even more compelling?
Yeah.
Is the improvement in health span.
Yeah?
Researchers observed lower frailty scores in the AKG supplemented mice.
Huh.
And we're talking a big reduction, 46% in females, 41% in males.
Wow.
This suggests that the added years aren't just about existing longer, but about living healthier for longer.
Right?
It raises this exciting possibility of not just extending life, but also the quality of those years.
Right, so we've seen these intriguing effects
Yeah.
in animal models. But now let's shift gears and delve into the why behind these potential benefits.
Okay.
How might KKG be working its magic at a cellular level for you?
Well, this raises an important question.
Yeah.
How can a relatively simple molecule like AKG have such diverse effects?
Right.
And the answer seems to lie in its central role in metabolism.
Okay.
As this article points out,
Yeah.
AKG is a key player in the Krebs cycle,
Right.
which is like the engine room of our cells responsible for generating most of our energy.
So the central power plant within each of your cells.
Exactly. It takes in fuel and turns out the energy our bodies need to function.
Yeah.
AKG is a crucial component in this energy-producing process.
Okay, so if this power plant isn't running as efficiently as we age,
Right.
due to declining AKG supplementing might help keep it humming,
Yeah.
which could then lead to these broader benefits.
Exactly. That's precisely the idea.
In terms of lifespan and feeling healthier.
By potentially counteracting the natural decline in AKG that occurs with age, we might help maintain efficient energy production, which is vital for all cellular processes.
Right.
And furthermore, the article touches on epigenetic regulation.
Oh, wow.
This is the idea that AKG can influence how our genes are expressed by affecting DNA methylation patterns.
Okay.
You can think of your DNA as a complex instruction manual.
Okay.
Methylation is like adding little sticky notes that can tell the cell which instructions to read, more
Right.
or less.
Got it.
AKG might influence these sticky notes.
That is fascinating. The
Yeah.
idea that we could potentially influence some aspects of biological aging at a fundamental level.
It really is.
And then there's the mention of inflammation and oxidative stress.
Right.
These are terms we hear a lot about in the context of aging.
Indeed, these are two major hallmarks of aging, contributing to a wide range of age-related issues.
Yeah.
And the research suggests that AKG may help to dampen inflammatory responses and reduce the damaging effects of oxidative stress, further supporting healthier aging for you.
And what about this mTOR thing?
Oh, right. Let's not forget the potential link to mTOR inhibition.
Yeah?
A pathway known to be involved in aging and autophagy,
Okay.
the cell's way of cleaning out damaged components.
So it's mTOR is like a cellular growth signal.
Exactly.
And in certain contexts, dialing it down can promote longevity and cellular repair.
Yeah, like giving your cells a bit of a spring cleaning break.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so as exciting as all this mouse data is,
Mm-hmm.
the article is very careful to point out that human studies are still Well,
Yeah.
limited.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah, it's important for you to have a balanced perspective on this.
Absolutely. And while the preclinical data is very compelling, we need to be cautious about extrapolating those findings directly to humans.
Right.
The article highlights a few key limitations.
Yeah.
For instance, AKG itself has a relatively short half-life in the body,
Okay.
meaning it's broken down quickly.
Right.
The Kellogg salt form, KHAG, is thought to improve stability,
Okay.
but we still need to fully understand its bioavailability and how it's utilized in humans over the long term.
Right.
That's a key piece of the puzzle for understanding its potential benefits for you.
Okay, so the human studies that have been done,
Yeah,
the article notes that many are either retrospective
right.
or involve small sample sizes.
Yeah,
This means we can't draw really firm conclusions just yet.
that's right.
Right.
Exactly.
So take the study on bone health in postmenopausal women
Okay.
with osteopenia. The finding of a 1.6% increase in bone density and a reduction in bone resorption markers is certainly positive.
Yeah,
However, it involved a relatively small group,
right.
76 participants over 6 months.
Okay.
So while promising, we need larger, longer-term studies to confirm these effects
I agree.
and understand their significance for broader populations.
Absolutely.
And then there's that really interesting but also very limited retrospective study
Oh, yeah.
that suggested an 8-year reduction in biological age,
Wow.
which sounds almost too good to be true.
Yeah, that's a huge claim.
The idea of potentially turning back the clock by 8 years at a biological level
Yeah,
is a truly groundbreaking concept, even with the study's limitations.
definitely.
So what are some of the leading theories about why KHAG might have such an effect?
Well, what's fascinating here
Yeah.
is the use of DNA methylation markers to assess biological age.
Okay.
This is a relatively new and increasingly sophisticated way to look at aging beyond just chronological years.
Right.
Certain patterns of methylation on our DNA can be indicative of our biological age.
Mm-hmm.
And these patterns can change over time.
Yeah.
The study you mentioned observed that individuals taking KAKG showed methylation patterns associated with a younger biological age.
Wow.
So one theory is that by influencing cellular metabolism and potentially reducing oxidative stress and inflammation, KAKG might help maintain or even restore more youthful methylation pattern.
Okay, so that's one possibility.
Right, but the critical limitation of that particular study was the lack of a control group.
Yeah, they mentioned that.
Without comparing the KAKG users to a similar group not taking the supplement, it's impossible to definitively say whether the observed association was solely due to the KAKG
Right.
or other factors.
Got it.
So that's a really important thing to remember.
Yeah, the article also brings up the point that there's no clear consensus yet on the optimal dosage of KAKG for potential longevity benefits.
Right. Different studies have used different amounts,
Right.
making it difficult to draw firm recommendations for you.
Yeah, that's a common challenge with many supplements.
Absolutely. And until we have more robust human data, including dose-response studies, it's hard to know what the most effective and safe dosage might be for different individuals and different health goals.
Right.
It underscores the need for more research to provide clearer guidance for you.
Okay, so let's recap a little bit.
Sure.
What does this all mean for you?
Okay.
The research on KAKG is definitely intriguing.
I agree.
That mouse study showing a significant increase in lifespan and a reduction in frailty scores up to 16.6% longer life for female mice and a 46% drop in frailty.
Wow.
That's certainly eye-catching.
It is, and it suggests a potential for impacting fundamental aging processes.
Right.
Of course, as we've discussed, what works in mice doesn't always translate directly to humans.
Right.
But these findings certainly fuel further research.
Absolutely. And the human study suggesting a potential improvement in bone density for postmenopausal women,
Right.
a 1.6% increase is another point to consider.
Yeah, and while modest, any increase in bone density in that population could have significant implications for reducing fracture risk for many people.
For sure. And the fact that the study also noted a reduction in bone resorption markers
Yeah.
suggests that KAKG might be influencing the balance between bone breakdown and formation in a positive way.
Exactly. It hints at a potential role for bone health as we age.
Right. And then there's the really provocative idea from that retrospective study,
Yeah.
an association with an 8-year reduction in biological age.
I know. It's hard to ignore that.
Now, remember the caveats.
Right.
That study lacked a control group, so we can't say for sure it was because of the KAKG.
Yeah, that's true.
But it certainly raises an important question about how this compound might be influencing our bodies at a fundamental level.
It does. Even with its limitations, it's a fascinating signal.
Absolutely. So thinking about how KAKG interacts with our mitochondria,
Yeah.
potentially influences our DNA, might help reduce inflammation.
Right.
These are all pieces of a complex puzzle.
They are.
The fact that it plays a role in the Krebs cycle, a cornerstone of energy production,
Right.
makes its potential so far-reaching.
Yeah, its central metabolic role means it could have downstream effects on numerous cellular processes for you.
However, it's crucial to keep in mind the limitations,
Yes.
the short lifespan of AKG in the body,
Yeah.
the need for more large-scale human trials,
For sure.
and the lack of a definitive consensus on the right dosage.
These are all critical considerations for anyone thinking about KAKG supplementation.
Absolutely.
We need more independent research to confirm the initial findings and to establish clear guidelines for dosage and duration of use.
Right.
It's still early days in understanding its full potential in humans.
Okay, so ultimately, based on what we've unpacked,
Yeah.
KKG seems like a promising area of research, particularly if you're interested in the science of longevity and healthy aging.
I agree.
It's presented as potentially beneficial with a seemingly good safety profile,
Right.
but the human evidence is still developing.
Yeah, we need more of it.
As the article suggests, if you're considering it, it shouldn't replace the foundational elements of a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Things you're likely already focused on, like exercise, a balanced diet,
Right.
and getting enough sleep.
That's a really important takeaway for you.
Yeah.
No supplement is a magic bullet.
Right.
KAKG, if it does prove to be beneficial, is likely to be most effective when combined with a solid foundation of healthy habits.
Yeah.
It's about enhancing, not replacing, those fundamental aspects of well-being.
This deep dive into cat AKG reveals a fascinating intersection of cellular biology and the quest for a longer, healthier life.
It does.
It highlights how much we're still learning, especially when it comes to translating findings from animal studies to human benefits.
Yeah, that's the big challenge.
So consider this.
Okay.
With the current understanding, what other areas of your health and well-being might have similarly promising, yet still evolving research behind them?
That's a great question.
It's a reminder that staying curious and informed is a continuous process, and there's always more to explore.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I think that's a great place to wrap up.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure.